Hey everyone, Malwave here, and I'm here with another Transformers video review. Now, I had a plan to do something, but you obviously know my well-laid plans. They always tend to fail. As such, I've decided to review a toy that I've purchased a long time ago, around just about after Botcon 2009. Actually, okay, I guess it was a lot after Botcon 2009. I got it in 2010. Either way, it's one of my most treasured Botcon-related toys, and if I had to pick, it'd be the one that I'd want to keep the most. So ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the video review of Botcon 2009 Flak. Now, as his name suggests, Flak is a flak cannon on wheels. He is a remold of the Cybertron Defense Scattershot / Batguild, or Galaxy Force Batguild. Batglid. I'll put an annotation somewhere around here explaining it if I screwed it up. The figure has a very nice. Once I close the window here, so you can actually see it. Natural light just seems to hate me during these things. As you can see, he's got this nice Arctic camo pattern with some nice red and black. We've also got the nice, once it focuses, the nice Elite Guard symbol here. This thing is covered in nice detailing. The wheel sections, all the little rivet panels. If there's one thing about the Cybertron toys that I love the most, it's the fact that they're incredibly detailed. He's also, the only thing I don't like about this vehicle mode is you can tell he's a robot. Because this is basically the whole whole torso and leg section. And then you can see the legs in there, and if you look real carefully, I'm sure you can't really see it in the light, but there's his head right there. If you were lucky enough to go to Botcon 2009 and you didn't grab this thing just for the vehicle mode, why? The vehicle mode on this toy, I give a 22. Now, I'm sure most of you are wondering, again, I said, oh, it's an amazing toy. Why? Well, because of a few reasons. Again, you can see the robot underneath and on top. And, I don't know, just most of the parts. Again, this thing, when you lift this up, you can see his head right there. Like, I should have lifted this up, but there's his head right there. But also, one thing I forgot to note, actually. I was going to include this in articulation, but you can actually... This thing, the missile pod, is fully rotatable, both in the X and the Y axis. So now that that's done... transformation's already started without me. Oh my god, it's an automatic toy! Ah! It's time for the transformation sequence. And here is Botcon 2009 Flak in robot mode. And you can definitely see why I really wanted this toy. This nice head sculpt. It's got a nice original head sculpt, and that's one of the things what I love about the Botcon toys. Any that they don't do that's a remold, or any that isn't a repaint, they give a brand new head to, and it really changes the toy completely. The head sculpt is very nice. I like the green. It is very representative of his Micromaster self, at least an homage to the era. You've got his missile pods, which have a very nice, almost like a Krylon metallic copper color to them. And you just have general parts all over that just add to the toy. He is a very nice looking figure. Articulation, however, does suffer. He does get a modest 20 out of 25, and that's only because of a few reasons. For example, the very nice head sculpt has about 45 degrees of complete rotation. Shoulder-wise, he has a 360-degree rotation, and depending on where this missile pack is, if it's here, it's about approximately 90 degrees. If it's all the way out, oh, Okay, it has complete in any direction. It's 90. It has about approximately 90-degree rotation. Elbows. Again, this is where it depends. If it's here, and depending on what position this arm is taken up, it can get about 360 degrees. Otherwise, it's a very loose, it's very sketchy. And it also has a 90-degree pivot, and the hand just went in. Speaking of hand, the hand has no articulation, unless you count this as articulation. Now, I didn't actually expect this toy to have this. I just discovered this today. He has waist articulation, about 360 degrees of it. Now, again, that's nice in comparison to most of the toys I've reviewed so far. His thighs can pivot about 90 degrees out, haha, yeah, and can pivot 180 degrees in total, forward and backward. So your standard Voyager class joint. His knee can rotate 360 degrees, and pivots about 90 at the knee. His feet, unfortunately, don't have any articulation. Again, unless you consider that as articulation. Again, for 20, I would say that that's kind of... I gave him average articulation because while he does lack some points, he does make up for it in others. Now, on to gimmicks. I will just show you all the gimmicks that he has. Being a Cybertron toy, he comes with this. Now, I'm sure if most of you who collect Transformers know exactly what this is. For those of you who don't, this is a Cyber Planet key, and I just dropped it. Damn. I meant to do that. This is a Cyber Planet key. Now, in the show, in Cybertron and Galaxy Force, these were basically energy keys, where this plugs into a slot and you get a different gimmick. Now, one thing I loved about these things were, no matter what, this was a universal end. So as long as you had one Cyber Planet key, or one Cyber key in general from any release, either Universe 2.0, Botcon, various Botcon releases, or your standard Cybertron or Galaxy Force, you would be able to activate any gimmick. This one that came with the Botcon Flak looks incredibly nice. Once again, unfortunately, I think the camera is having a hard time focusing because Flak's in the background, so hang on a sec. There we go. Okay. This Cyber Planet key that came with Botcon Flak, I do like. It's the standard Autobot one that came with the Universe 2.0 2-packs with Roadbuster and Springer. But it's molded in a nice clear black plastic, painted with a nice white, and given the Elite Guard stripes as well. Looks very nice. Again. Now this is the main gimmick these are the main gimmicks that I really consider for Botcon Flak. The first one is on the side of his arm here. You just slip it in. Now a good note to remember is the only way this will really work is if his arm is like this, completely straight up, because if it isn't, this little panel here will not flip out completely. Anyways, you want to push this in and voila, you has missile launcher. And no, you cannot has cheeseburger. Before anyone in the comments says it, no, you can't has. You cannot has. And to bring out the missile launcher, just pull or push on that little tab or pull this out. On the other arm, you want to, again, straighten this out. Plug it in. And you get a giant-ass laser. Yeah, as if Botcon Flak needed any more artillery. He's now got a sniper laser and a dual missile launcher. Now the laser itself, I love this thing because as I said, I like to consider it basically Flak and or scatter shot and or drop shot and or whoever and whoever's remolded from this toy as their sort of their sniper scope. I'd consider it like their more accurate weapon versus the holy crap, they're going to blow up every building missile fire. Again, this is cyber gimmick. It's on a spring. When you're done with it, you just click it back in. It becomes a missile pod. The missile launcher, on the other hand, is not as good. I'm not sure, for those of you who did not watch my 25th anniversary reissue of the G1 Perceptor, here's the problem with this one. You got your nice red missiles, you know, tab them in. Just tab them in. And here's what happens. I'm pushing the button, guys. See? Look, I'll even push it for you. Oh, sure, now it works. Yes, folks. As I was about to illustrate, the missile launchers don't work at all. And all of a sudden, you have to fight with them to work. That's even worse. Now I can't get this missile out. 1 second. There we go. As you can tell, missile launcher didn't work. The last little gimmick, because I notice I'm slightly running out of time, the last gimmick that comes with Botcon Flak, like every toy, is a handgun. Yeah, I know, it's kind of useless too. Gimmicks in total, Botcon Flak gets a 20. The laser looks awesome. The missile pod, I guess, if you can get yours working, is pretty good. But the gun just seems completely redundant. But now for fun factor. 21 out of 25. Botcon Flak is moderately articulate. He has a very nice profile. He is a very cool toy. He has tons of firepower, so if you really wanted to, you could have your son or daughter playing with this toy and pretending they're a robot Rambo. Just aim here, fire here, instant artillery destruction. But there is a few things that are... He's also got plenty of gimmicks, whether or not, I'm sure a kid, if they got this guy, would not care if the missile launcher didn't work. It's like, oh, he has a gun, cool. Like, I'm just judging from my own personal perspective. However, there is one thing about this toy that makes it not as fun to play with. Botcon figure. Exclusive Botcon figure. There are only two ways you can get this guy. Either A, you attended Botcon and you paid the retail price for it, or two, you got someone who went to Botcon to buy it for you and you paid them. Like me. Which, by the way, Enraged Coconut, if you are watching this, I still thank you for this guy because he's awesome! But if you don't have those two sources, you will not have this toy. This toy will not be played with. You cannot has. However, if you do want this mold, there was a universe release of it called Decepticon Dropshot. Or, if you are really inclined, you can go and purchase the Cybertron Defense Scattershot or Back Guild. Either way, this mold, and this character in general, is a prime example of Botcon ingenuity, and by far probably one of my favorites from the entire set. And that's why I give Botcon Flak an 82 out of 100. If you have the opportunity to buy this toy, you buy it. Do it for yourself, do it for Flak, do it for me, do it for the world. So until next time, this is Malwave with Botcon 2009 Flak, signing out. See you, everybody!